afternoon. It is January 31st of 2021, so it is the last day of the first month of 2021, and today I thought I'd spend some quiet time with myself to kind of clear my head and go over my intentions for the new year. I know a lot of people typically do this before the new year begins, or they try to do it like right in the first few weeks of the new year to come up with like goals and resolutions and figure out their plans for 2020-2021. However, I really like to just give myself grace in January to just clear my head, not just get settled into the new year, but to just kind of give myself space to even hear my own thoughts. I definitely feel like sometimes so many of us are just busy with the holidays and the new year and just coming up with resolutions and a plan and, dreaming big for the new year, that we sometimes forget to give ourselves time to just like hear our own thoughts and just clear our head and just actually listen to what we're thinking, how we're feeling, and what's on our heart at the moment. And I really like to take January to just give myself that time to just let myself hear my own thoughts and to really figure out what it is that I want and take that time to slow down. Therefore, today I wanted to take the time to clear my head, really settle down, and to come up with my intentions for the new year and to fill out my Artist of Life Workbook. I know there's a section on reviewing your 2020 and to come up with a plan for your first quarter and to dive into how you're feeling and what you're thinking. And I'm really looking forward to kind of journaling it out, using my Artist of Life Workbook, and really talking and going over things with you guys about what I'm thinking about for 2021, how I'm feeling, what are my intentions, and maybe even thinking about how I plan to start my new year, which I say that the new year starts in February since I do take January as like a grace period. My new year typically starts on February 1st, which is tomorrow. So today's January 31st. It's the last day before my new year begins. I thought I'd take this time to just get my head on straight and just see what's on my heart and do some journaling today. I would really love if you guys would join me. If you guys are interested, or if you have the Artist of Life Workbook, I will be using that today and we can kind of go over the prompts together, maybe fill out some of the pages. I'll share with you guys some of the questions in here and we can both answer them together. You can share your answers in the comments below. If you do have an Artist of Life Workbook and you're filling it out with me, definitely be sure to take pictures or some stories and tag me on Instagram at MintSweaterGirl so we can really join in on this experience together. I would really love that. I will also share a little bit of the intentions I've already journaled out so far and some new ones that I come up with today. If you're ready to dive in with me, definitely get cozy, get some sweatpants and a sweatshirt on, grab some tea. I made myself a London Fog, which if you don't know what a London Fog is, it's Earl Grey tea with vanilla or simple syrup and some steamed milk, and you make it into a little latte. Definitely Google it. It's called a London Fog. It is a life changer. It is so amazing. So I definitely have my London Fog. Get yourself a hot cuppa and make sure you're all cozied up with a blanket and we can dive into setting some New Year intentions together. As I just mentioned, I will be using the Artist of Life Workbook today to kind of do some of my journaling and going over some of my ideas and thoughts for 2021. If you don't have the workbook, I will leave the link in the description on where you can snag one for yourself if you are interested. I'm typically not a big fan of like journaling and workbooks and planners because I just never freaking stick them out, ever. I always buy them and they're just blank, or I'll pick them up like twice throughout the year. So it definitely seems like a huge waste of money to me. But this one actually really grabbed my attention. I'm going to try and stick it out this year and hopefully maybe doing these videos throughout the year. And maybe if we kind of do this together as a community, I might be able to stick this one out. I will definitely give you an end of the year review on it if I do stick it out and if I don't, and let you guys know my thoughts on the Artist of Life Workbook. This is my first year doing it, but I'm ready to dive in if you guys are. This is the Artist of Life Workbook. I'll definitely give you a little skim of the pages as well. I will also link the girl who is the creator behind the Artist of Life Workbook. Her company is called Lavendaire. She also has a YouTube channel, so I will leave a link to her videos. I will also be watching some of her videos while I fill this out just to learn a little bit about maybe how she approaches the workbook. And so here is the Artist of Life Workbook. I will go ahead and put her videos on and I will go over some of the pages with you guys right now. Okay, this is the Artist of Life Workbook, and in the first section she talks about goodbye 2020. So reviewing your previous year. Our previous year right now, if you're watching this video right now, is 2020, so reviewing your 2020 year. The first question is 2020 highlights and accomplishments to be proud of. List some of the highlights and accomplishments you're proud of that happened in 2020. Some things that I wrote down in my area was that I made some new friends. I made like 2 or 3 brand new friends. I'm really proud of myself for branching out, putting myself out there to make new friends and cultivating those friendships and taking the time to get to know those people and connect with them. And it's really hard to make new friends, and so going out there and doing that and actually making more than one new friend in a year, I'm really proud of myself for taking the time and getting out of my comfort zone to make some new friends. I moved in 2020, so I moved from Newport News to Virginia Beach, and Virginia Beach has been kind of my dream area to live in the past few years since moving to the East Coast in Virginia. Virginia Beach was kind of like my dream area that I wanted to manifest living in for a while, and I did finally make that move happen, and so now I am in Virginia Beach living in my dream area until I figure out maybe if I want to stay or if I want to move somewhere else. But right now I'm happy here and I'm giving this place a try, but we'll see where I go next. But I'm very proud of myself for making that move to Virginia Beach. In 2020, I launched a new mint sweater brand and website. In January of 2020 is when I launched the all new brand for the mint sweater and the new website. I completely redesigned it and I gave like the mint sweater a facelift, and that was launched in January. So I'm really proud of myself for doing that because I did do it all by myself, and so it is kind of a big accomplishment. I got featured in a Spark Inspiration. There was this graphic design book that I submitted to be an application for, and I got selected as one of the finalists to be featured in their book. And I was, you know, I'm not a graphic designer. I didn't go to school for graphic design, so to be a finalist and to be featured in that book amongst professional graphic designers was kind of a big deal, at least for me, so I am really proud of myself for doing that as well. I ran my first 5K. I read 8 books. I supported many small businesses. I definitely have been trying to make that huge shift from no longer supporting big chain places and really taking the time and effort to make sure I'm making that transition and making the active choice to no longer support big chains and instead support small businesses. Like for instance, like shopping at Lavendaire and getting this workbook. I supported a small business by doing that and someone's dreams, and I think that's a very underrated accomplishment to give yourself, that you're making a big difference by doing that. And so that is a huge highlight and accomplishment for me in 2020, whereas all the small businesses I actively went out of my way to make sure I was supporting and encouraging and loving on, and that is what I added in my book. I launched a plus size collection for my shop. So my business, The Mint Sweater, has like a blog, but it also has an online clothing boutique, and we do carry contemporary sized women, which is small, medium, large, sometimes extra large. But we also launched our plus size collection, and so now we do carry plus sizes in the shop as well, from 1X to 3X. And I love representing body positivity, and I really want every girl to be able to come into the shop and feel loved and accepted and find something that makes them feel effortlessly beautiful. And therefore I thought it was a great highlight to add into this section, which was launching the plus size collection. I ran my first 5K, but I also ran my first 10K, so I did both of those in 2020. I voted. It's very important. Voting is every 4 years here in the United States for our presidency, but you should also vote, you know, when there's other elections going on too. But it was kind of a big deal in 2020 on voting. It's a really big deal to vote here in America, especially in the 2020 election, and I did it. I voted in 2020, which was kind of a big election to vote for, and what I think is a highlight and accomplishment is it's a privilege for us here to be able to vote, especially as women, and you know, we have that opportunity here in America to use our voices and make them heard. And so I think, you know, seizing that opportunity and using it to make a difference the best way you can is a big deal. So I voted in my accomplishments. So if you did vote, definitely add it to your list. I launched and wrote an ebook. I traveled to visit my family in Florida. I started my own YouTube channel, which you're watching on right now. And I made a certain goal amount in sales in the mint sweater. And those are just a few. Actually, that was kind of like almost all of my list, but about everything I wrote on my 2020 highlights and accomplishments list. I hope it gives you a good idea to also recognize in your own life that nothing is too small to write or add. Maybe you think it only has to be checking off a goal or a fitness goal or a business goal, but I think what's more important to recognize in yourself, especially in accomplishments and highlights throughout the year, is things that you did that made you happy, like making new friends or visiting family and spending time with them, you know, moving to your dream place. It doesn't always have to be like a to-do list check-off kind of style thing to be proud of. I think it's just also important to recognize things that made you happy, that you went outside your comfort zone to make friends or put yourself in an application amongst professional designers to be featured in a book. You know, you voted, you made a contribution to society, hopefully in a good way. I think it's important to take that time to recognize all the different things you did in 2020 that, you may not think you should be proud of yourself for, but if it made you happy, I think that is a pretty big deal, don't you think? I think I kind of got sidetracked and lost my point. But the first question was, what are your 2020 highlights and accomplishments to be proud of? The next question was, what worked well in 2020? Name 3 or more wins, big and small, of what worked in 2020. Some things that I wrote down was making new friends, being consistent and persistent with my fitness goals like running. I got into running in 2020 and I've ran my first 5K and my first 10K in 2020. So I started using audiobooks to read. I struggle with reading a lot and making the time for reading, and I started listening to audiobook versions on my walk every morning when I take my dog out, and so I managed to breeze through quite a few books more than I would normally would, and I'm just, finding my own way of learning to overcome how I'm struggling with reading and figure out a way that works for me. And then therefore I read I read 8 books. I ended up reading 8 books after switching to audiobooks to listening to them on my walk, and I think that worked pretty dang well. And the last thing I wrote for what worked in 2020, when I first wrote this, it definitely kind of made me a little emotional, which is I didn't and haven't given up. I've definitely struggled a lot in the past with many things. I've had severe depression for many, many years, and I think the biggest reminder sometimes when we struggle really hard or we go through really dark times is to look back and recognize that we haven't given up. We're still here, we're still fighting, we're still trying. Even if it just means we're getting through the day, you didn't give up, you haven't given up, you're still here and you're still trying. And I think that is very beautiful. So that was something I felt in my heart to recognize in myself, which was what I added to what worked in 2020, which is I didn't and haven't given up. Maybe that can resonate with you in a small way. The next question was what didn't work in 2020, and while I know some of you may have written like a few that worked well in 2020 and then your 2020 didn't work list is probably like freaking long like mine, but actually she wrote name at least 3 mistakes or failures and what good came from them. So what didn't work in 2020, I know you have this thought like you can probably make 1,000 things on that list more than what worked in 2020. So what I did is I wrote 4 of what worked in 2020 and I only have written 3 for what didn't work, and just stick to 3. Just let yourself pick the 3 biggest ones that you felt like you got the most good out of making those things that didn't work, and write those down. So the first one I wrote was lack of organization, planning, and realistic timelines for business goals and projects. I never make deadlines. That's a problem. Number 2, understanding my worthiness in people paying me. I earn and deserve the sale, asking for the sale. I really struggle with sales because I don't like being salesy. I really struggle with like people taking their hard-earned money and supporting me. It just feels like I struggle with the worthiness of that, but I have definitely, it's a mindset, right? You're trying to understand like the compensation that comes, the energy exchanging from one person to another, and depending on your perspective on that, it can be really hard to accept like receiving money from other people, just like if you struggle receiving help from somebody or compliments, or if they choose to spend their time. Sometimes we all struggle with the worthiness that people can pour into us, and one of those is just for me is like getting into that business mindset, and like having people pay me for things is just like, oh my god, I'm in control. But that's something that I could improve on. And the last thing I wrote was surrendering, trusting myself and the universe, attracting good things, not letting my anxiety and negative emotions get the best of me. I feel like we could all relate to that. It's just, understanding to have trust and faith in the world that things won't always be all bad, and understanding that a lot of people say that the universe has your best interest at heart, and you have to have faith in that. It's not easy to have every day, so I definitely think there's room for improvement in learning to attract good things, not letting my anxiety and negative emotions, dictate how my mindset is for the day and how I act and behave throughout the day with myself, with others, my activities. Having a positive mindset, like mind frame, takes work, and we could all, I know I could use improvement in that. The next question is, what did I learn in 2020? I'm not really going to explain some of the things I learned, but I just thought I'd share what I wrote down so far. 1 is to go at your own pace. 2 is higher consciousness, quantum realm, energy versus focused physical form. That probably makes zero sense to you guys, but it does to me. I did learn something, and that is what I learned. The third thing I wrote down was to uphold a standard of growth and respect from the people you choose to have in your life. Maybe one day I'll go and maybe I'll create a video. If you're interested in things like that, a video of me kind of diving into and explaining a little bit of things that I've learned and talking about, you know, upholding things that I've learned of like going at your own pace, what it means to stop following the standards of society, you know, learning about higher consciousness and understanding the difference between energy and physical forms, upholding a standard of growth and respect from the people you choose to have in your life. And what I meant by that is they say be wise about who you choose to spend your most time with, right? You're a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But I don't think they ever really dive deep into what that truly means, what that truly looks like for each individual, and what this diving deep into the effects that has so that you can understand the why that matters. And once you understand the why, then you can actually follow the actions of following through. Because just because someone's mean or you're like, oh, like, I feel like they're too selfish, those are very good reasons. But I just mean when you're kind of like picking and choosing based off like in the moment, you're like, oh, I don't like the way a person does that. They can't be my top 5. It's not really doing it with a system, or you're not having the clarity of understanding what that means. And I learned a little bit about what that really looks like for me and what it means to, does that person have a place in my heart, in my life? What purpose are they serving for me? And that what purpose am I serving for them? Are we at the same intellectual level? I learned that a little bit about what that means is, let's say you're working on yourself and you're trying so hard to improve yourself. You're mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You are doing everything you can to better yourself as a person, to grow and to learn. You really want to surround yourself with other people who are doing the same thing. How that makes a difference is something I really think, like Rachel Hollis said very well one day in her documentary I saw, which is, if you are the smartest person at your table, how are you supposed to grow? What does it really mean to think about how you can uphold a standard of growth and respect from the people you choose to have in your life, right? They need to be at different points in life. I learned a lot about what it means to uphold a standard of growth and respect from the people you keep closest to you. And if you're interested in me diving into more of those topics, let me know in the comments below, and I can maybe turn those into some videos where I share a little bit of information about what I learned, and maybe that can be helpful for you. Some other questions she asked, but I'm not going to go over all of them, which are, how did my life evolve in 2020? Who made a difference in my life and why? What about 2020 am I most grateful for? And list of moments that were pure joy that I experienced in 2020. And I kind of really liked this one because even now, like a month later after writing this, I can look back and like I see those memories that I wrote that brought me pure joy. Like, I mean, really think of the highest level of joy you could feel and pick out those top moments from your year. So when you do look back, you really just like even smile just by thinking about that memory. And that's the section of reflection on your 2020 year. And now she says, hello 2021. Hello for 2021. The first page says, my theme for 2021 is. Write your theme for 2021 above. Your New Year theme is a word or phrase that represents what you want to bring into your life and continue to focus on throughout the year. It's your guiding light. My theme for 2021 I wrote down was go at your own pace. I also included a second one. You don't have to have more than one, but you know, this one also was just truly what was on my heart. And so my second one is, it is all so simple. I think Oprah Winfrey for that one. I'm curious to know, what is your theme for 2021? Let me know in the comments below. The first question asks, what can I do to embody my theme in 2021? So far I wrote down, dance to the rhythm of my own drums. I know that's a saying you all are probably familiar with. Number 2, let go of the pressure of society. 3, enjoy the ride of my party train and play the music louder. 4, ask the universe for help, support, and guidance as I learn this life lesson and what it means to me, for me. Those are some small mental notes that I wrote for myself on how I can embody my theme in 2021. The way I write down my plans or my goals or anything that I write out for 2021, like how are you going to embody your theme? A lot of people write things like read books more, or you know, run so many X amount of miles, or go to the gym more, drink more water, or I can't think of the classic typical resolutions people set, but you kind of get the basic general idea. I don't write my things like in to-do list forms like this: dance to the rhythm of my own drums. To me, and letting go of the pressure of society, those aren't things you necessarily like write as a task and check off, or turn into like a project and break down into task lists and then accomplishment. To me, how can you really embody, like my theme is go at your own pace. How can I really embody that as a person? How can I transform myself mentally and emotionally and spiritually to be that person that I need to be, who lives out that mantra, which is going at my own pace? What going at your own pace means for me is, I really feel like as a society, we're constantly pressuring people to live life at a certain timeline. You go to school and you graduate at 18, you go to college, you graduate at 22, you find an internship, and then you probably start full-time at 25, and then by the time you're 30, you're married and you have kids. There's like this timeline placed on us, and you know, especially with trends, like, oh, if you haven't bought your summer clothes by like May, then you're gonna run out, or you're not gonna have them. Or if you don't have your Christmas tree and your Christmas decorations up by the first week in December, I mean, what's the point anymore? There's this timeline from society that's placed on us, and I'm just like, I really learned and leaned into that in the last year, and I want to really embody breaking free from that in 2021, because the awareness came to me in 2020, and therefore I want to change that now that I'm aware of it in 2021, which is, why am I living at this timeline that is set for me by other people? Why do I need to feel this pressure and anxiety and standard to live by somebody else's timeline, especially one that doesn't make me happy, or one that doesn't fit me or my life or my lifestyle? It's not what I want. It's not how I want to live. And I'm over here feeling like I'm forced to live by other people's standards and the way society says we should or should not live. And I know a lot of us can resonate that in many areas. Like, you know, the most common one is trends with clothes. Like, you feel like you have to wear and dress a certain way, or, you know, that basic white girl bitch that's got her Starbucks and her Uggs and stuff like that. We all think of these like stereotypes and these trends and standards from society. And I really think that sometimes it places and infects, it kind of leaks out of certain areas and into others of our lives, kind of like this timeline. And I really think that, you know, once I created the awareness that, oh my God, you know, why am I feeling this way? Where is it coming from? What is happening? And diving deep into it and learning about it, which is like that, learning that the timeline isn't coming from me. I'm feeling this pressure and unhappiness from it. And to learn about what I can do about it, which is to stop listening and following along with it, and also encouraging and inspiring other people who feel the same way to break free from it too. Because I think, you know, when you can have support from friends and understanding from friends, and they can support you along this journey, it can really help as well. My first thing was to dance to the rhythm of my own drums. I just feel like, you know, that saying, you think of it, you know, regardless of the music, you kind of just do your own thing. You're having a good time. You just sit there and you do your own thing in your own way, in your own time, and you're happy doing it. And that's kind of how I picture it, right? Not just when you're dancing, but I want to feel that way in every area of my life. And everything that I do, I want to feel like I'm doing it I want to feel like I'm doing it in my own way, in my own time, and how I want to do it. And that is what I plan to do in 2021, which is to dance to the rhythm of my own drums and let go of the pressure of society, and enjoy the ride of my party train and play the music louder. I really liked that one, because I feel like sometimes I look around at the people in my life, and even strangers or just acquaintances I've run into and had like a talk with. I feel like so many people are struggling. They have so many struggles. And I was talking to my mentor, and I was saying, you know, I feel like there's so many solutions for people in their struggles, yet people just put their blinders up to them. It's like they don't want to hear the solutions, or they're just rather be happy with their misery, which sounds really weird. They're more comfortable with their misery than sitting out and branching out and getting out of their comfort zone to find happiness by going through the solutions to their problems. And I was like, you know, I've gone through a lot of that work to figure out how to find my own happiness And I'm at the point sometimes where I'm enjoying my life. I'm on my party train, I'm having a good time, and I keep telling people, come with me, it's so much fun. Like sometimes you're in that season when you're living like the best years of your life, or you're having the best time of your life, you're having a really good season, and you want people to join in on that experience with you, or you want them to be a part of that experience so that you can enjoy it together. And it feels like you're reaching your hand out to people and saying, come join me, we're having a great time. There's so much life out there that you could be witnessing and experiencing with me. And they're just like, no, I'd rather stay home. And I feel like I definitely have experienced that a lot lately. You know, I'm enjoying my party train, we're having a good time. And, you know, I've learned that if people don't want to, they're happy being stuck in their own ways, or they're just happy with their life the way it is, and they just refuse to change, even if they're just miserable, that's their choice. You have to let them be, and just to enjoy your own party train. Even if it's a solo ride, you turn that music up louder and you have a good old time. That is what I've learned. And I mean, there's just nothing you can do about it besides just say, you know what, I extended the invitation. If you say no, that's your choice, but I'm still gonna enjoy the best time of my life that I can, and I'm not gonna let anything stop that. It's my party train, and I'm gonna party if I want to. The last one was ask the universe for help, support, and guidance as I learn this life lesson and what it means to me, for me. I think everybody, we can all do that right here, right now. We all have a theme or an intention or anything we've thought about for 2021 as we want to learn and grow as people. And all we can really do is ask the universe, or if you have a religious belief, we are open to all religious beliefs here. So you can say God, Jesus, whatever you believe in, you can insert that here and just say, ask them for the help, support, and guidance that you need in order to learn this life theme or this intention or where it is that you're trying to get to. Ask them to provide you for the guidance and the lessons and the experiences you need to get to be the person you want to be. So for me, like, I want to be the person and embody the person that's going at their own pace and letting go of like the standard and pressure and all these anxiety about like living life at a certain timeline. And I'm going to ask the universe for help and support and guidance in helping me learn that lesson to become the person that I need to be able to live at my own pace, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that's helpful. The next question is, how do I want to feel in 2021? Some things I wrote down for how I want to feel in 2021 was to feel strong and resilient. I want to feel like I have calm and accepting and surrendering to the never arrived feeling of the journey of life. So in life, you never arrive. Like, we always keep trying to find like, when we're happy, we'll do this, or oh, we need to do X, Y, and Z, then we'll be happy. We keep trying to strive for this destination of happy, or this dream life, or this perfect moment in life where we have everything we want and we're arrived. That's just not how life works. You never arrive in life. Like, life is a journey. It just keeps going. You know, there's always going to be a new twist and turn. There's like, you reach one goal and you set a new one, and you're constantly moving forward in your life. There's never this arrived feeling, and sometimes that can be kind of overwhelming, or I use the term like seasick. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like the ground's never gonna stop moving underneath me, and it's not. And so you can kind of get a little like seasick. So to me, it's learning to feel calm and accepting and surrendering to that like fact that you are never going to feel arrived in your life. The next thing I wrote was to feel alive, like I am truly living within my life. To feel balanced between bold and daring and calm and serene, this gentle living life, but still living with like boldness, and be a little brazen and outgoing, and, you know, being a trailblazer and still finding calm and peace at the same time. Finding that little balance between bold and daring, calm and serene, a little gentle way of living life, but still keeping room for excitement. I have all the time in the world. I'm no longer going to pressure myself for reaching timelines and deadlines and living life by a certain day and time, because that's what I feel pressured to do, to live my life in my own time. And so I feel like I have all the time in the world to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, in the way I want to do it, how I want to do it. I have all the time in the world. Impact. I do want to make an impact on other people, helping them learn and grow as people, and just, you know, helping the community as a whole just continue to keep getting better and better by doing whatever little small part of contribution I can for that. The next question was, how do I want to evolve in 2021? I wrote down how I want to evolve in 2021. I grow in my EQ and IQ. Better at my best self while still having people in the mix, and I improve at handling relationships with others. I find worthiness and embody it. I learn and grow in ways I can't even imagine now. I am building one or more steps closer to my authentic self. What do I want to release in 2021? Some things that I want to release in 2021 I wrote are anxiety, pressure from society, not enoughness. If I don't do X, Y, and Z by X, I'm not enough. It's not enough. Unworthiness, feeling like I don't deserve to get paid. Lack, afraid of competition. Control, trusting the universe and gripping too tightly. Not speaking up. Enough is enough, then say so. Those are kind of just like my journaled thoughts. Sometimes these things may not make sense just because I'm writing just what first thoughts come to my mind and just kind of journaling out how I feel. So some things I want to release in 2021 are things like anxiety, pressure, that feeling of not enoughness and unworthiness, that lack mindset, that there's not enough abundance in this world for everybody. Definitely want to improve on that. Feeling like I need to control my immediate surroundings and control my life and making decisions and things like that, and not trusting the universe to have my best interest at heart enough. And then not speaking up. Enough is enough, then say so. So far we've covered a lot of questions in the 2021 section of the Artist of Life Workbook. We've asked, what can I do to embody my theme in 2021? What is my theme for 2021? How do I want to feel in 2021? How do I want to evolve in 2021? And what do I want to release in 2021? With each of those questions, if you're willing or open to share, please feel free to leave them in the comments below or send me a picture of your little journaled thoughts or anything like you'd like to share. Once again, I will leave my Instagram in the description below so you guys can reach out and we can talk about our answers. And if you guys feel the same way, or if we share any commonalities together, just let me know. I'd love to know if you guys filled out these questions and maybe what you discovered about yourself. Those are the first two sections of the Artist of Life Workbook, saying goodbye and reflecting on 2020, along with saying hello to 2021, coming up with your very first few thoughts about the new year, maybe setting a theme and thinking about how you want to embody it and how you want to evolve as a person in the new year. We've already covered so much in these first two sections, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I hope being able to do a little bit of reflecting of the previous year and beginning to dive into some thoughts for 2021 was helpful for you guys to do together. I really hope you guys enjoyed filling out the Artist of Life Workbook with me and being able to share some thoughts about the previous year and the new year together, and hopefully this helps you guys kind of say goodbye to your 2020 and be proud of the things you accomplished and let go of some of the things you feel like you need to let go of, while still keeping a positive eye and a hopeful eye and opening your mind of what's to come in 2021. Okay friends, to wrap up this little saying goodbye and reflecting on 2020 and setting some new year 2021 intentions, I thought I'd share with you guys some of my own personal 2021 intentions I've written so far now that we've kind of gone through the Artist of Life Workbook and did those pages and answered some of the questions she had in her workbook. I thought I'd share some of my own personal intentions and the way I do intentions. If you know anything about intentions or the way I set intentions, if you aren't familiar with the way I set intentions, I've linked all the information about intentions in the description below between blog posts and videos that I've done. Everything you need to know about how I set intentions is all in the information in the links below. With that disclosure, definitely keep in mind as I go through my intentions, they're probably likely going to mean absolutely nothing to you. And what I mean by that is when I read them, they're going to just be random little thoughts and notes that I've written to myself that mean a lot to me when I hear them. But you hearing them, you're probably going to be like, you're missing some few words in there. Like, what does that even mean? And that's perfectly okay. These are my intentions. They're supposed to mean something to me, and your own intentions are supposed to resonate and make sense to you. So while my intentions may not make a whole lot of sense to you, they do for me, and I will try and do my best to kind of go over them and explain. Some of them are going to be similar to the ones I wrote in the Artist of Life Workbook, so you will already know what they mean. And for those that I haven't and do still kind of not make a whole lot of sense, I will try my best to go over them while still keeping this very short for you guys. Here are my 2021 intentions. Number 1, live and do at my own pace. Number 2, impact, change people for the better. 3, release anxiety. 4, discover my path in worthiness. 5, Overcome fear, even the fears I'm unaware of. 6. Continue to grow on my path of listening, improve on being a better listener. 7. Surrender always. 8. I have time. I have endless amount of time and I enjoy every second of that everlasting moments of time. 9. I speak the language of the universe. We are one. I and we understand one another. 10. I am always so grateful for my life and in awe of it. 11. It is all so simple. And I recently just even added another one onto my intentions, which says balance between bold and daring and peace with calm, gentle, simple living. As you can see, clearly some of the intentions I've written at the beginning of this month are very similar to the ones that I wrote in the Artist of Life Workbook as I was filling it out, but those are a few of my intentions that I've set for myself for 2021. My hope for sharing some of my intentions and going through the Artist of Life Workbook together is to, one, hopefully help you make some time and encourage you to set time aside to set your own intentions and really think about how you can be more intentional in what your expectations and hopes are for 2021 and how you can set yourself up for having a year of joy and grace and things that make you happy and still feel fulfilled and like it was enough at the end of the year. Sharing my intentions is just to kind of give you an idea of just how open and honest and real and raw you can really be with yourself when you're writing out intentions. It doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense when you're writing it. It just has to mean something to you. It doesn't have to be a to-do list. It doesn't have to be goals. It doesn't have to be a word of the year. It's not something you check off. Intentions are just supposed to be what's on your heart and a representation of the kind of person you want to be, and of course the person you strive to be, the best version of yourself, and what you feel like you can improve on, and whatever you feel is on your heart to help you continue in growth as a person and in this world. I really enjoyed being able to fill out the Artist of Life Workbook with you guys. It was definitely a lot more fun than just me sitting there trying to force myself to get through a workbook, but I loved being able to share that experience with you guys and talk about intentions for the New Year's and share my intentions. And I really hope you guys get some time to set your own if you haven't yet, or if you have already, hopefully through the workshop that I've shared and through this video, maybe you can definitely reflect on some of the goals and things you've already set for yourself in 2021 and make some shifts so that they are more aligned with what's in your heart and what is possible for you in 2021. If you enjoyed setting intentions with me, definitely let me know in the comments below if you'd love to see more videos like this. And be sure to share with me any intentions that you have set for yourself. I'd love to see what you guys have on your heart and what are your hopes and what are your thoughts and ideas for 2021. Definitely share that with me in the comments below, or you can share with me as always on Instagram at midsweatergirl. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in my next one.